Yo, 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 yo.
Yo.
We're live, man. I already hit live. We're going live straight off the mobile phone. I'm in my living room. Shout out to everybody that's already in the chat. I got Greg Melly with me. We It's a weird time for an NBA game, so that's why I'm in the living room because my kid is still awake. But we're bringing you the content no matter what. Shout out to everyone in the chat. What's up, Greg?
Yo.
Um, Yeah, man. Sixers take out the Bulls 119-108. I got some thoughts on the game. Obviously, the Bulls. Bro, like we had an agreement 30 seconds into the stream, bro. Just stay there, please. The Bulls are playing without Levine, Lonzo, and Caruso. So, I mean, I know the Sixers aren't like the most dominant team in the world right now outside of Joel Embiid, but I still thought it should have been an easy win. There was ups and downs. Um, we were playing without Matisse Thybulle. I thought that was something to point out because we probably would have had him on Mar DeRozan a large part of this game. At least I think we would have. Although what Doc Rivers is gonna do, what Doc Rivers does, is always unpredictable. Um, we finally out rebounded a team. That's something to point out. The 2022 76ers out rebounded an NBA team. We won the assist battle, which tells me we were moving the ball better than we normally do. Still thinks there was times in the game where the ball gets kicked out of the post and we refuse to swing the ball. I don't know what it is. Players hold the ball. Seth Curry holds the ball too much. Tobias Harris holds the ball too much. 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. That was inevitably blown because, again, 2022 Philadelphia 76ers, that's what we do. I thought part of that was we went on a run in the fourth. After we blew that lead, actually, we went on another run, and Doc Rivers called a timeout during a Sixers run that I felt like was about to put the game away. Doc Rivers called a timeout, and a couple minutes later, it was a 6-point game again. So I felt like Doc was trying to lose the game. Joel Embiid put it on his shoulders in the fourth quarter. The whole game, Joel Embiid finishes with 40 and 10. Tobias Harris was aggressive and strong the whole game. Tobias gives you 21. Where's he at? Tobias gave you 23. Tyrese Maxey 16. I got some comments and I'll dive deeper into the Tyrese Maxey thing. I think him still being out shot by Seth Curry and Tobias Harris is going to be a problem eventually. I don't understand Tyrese Maxey only having 9 field goal attempts in the entire game. Seth Curry was 5 for 15, 2 for 5 from 3. It's the fact that Tyrese Maxey was so hot early. What did he have? 9 points in the first quarter, and he finished with 16. It just he again just wasn't a major part of the offense. But we put it away. We won the game. I can't sit up here and be ultra negative, I guess, but it's just I just feel like Tyrese Maxey is going to have to be. He has to be the number 2 guy. Tobias was the good version of himself in this game with 23 points. He was a +6. I think he had a lot of strong finishes around the rim. A lot of the things that I say about him is that he goes up weak. He goes up soft. He fades away from contact. I think lately, the past 4 or 5 games, he's been playing a lot more aggressive, a lot stronger under the rim. So, shout out to Tobias. I think Seth Curry, in the end, gives you 12 points. But, I don't know what it is. I think Seth has such a big ego right now on this team. He feels like he is the man. I think that started with him averaging 20 points in the playoffs last year. And he thinks he's the number 2 option on this team. And you're not. You shouldn't be out shooting Tyrese Maxey. But I thought George Niang was a dog off the bench. Some big buckets from him down the stretch, including the dagger that put the game away towards the end. He finished the game with 9 points. We'll talk about Furkan Korkmaz in a minute because it's interesting. It's interesting. Greg, give me your thoughts on the game. 132 people in here. Hit the thumbs up, man. Thanks for being here.
Man, I'm not really positive about it. I have a hard time seeing a lot of positives after this game. This game should have been a blowout. We had an 18-point lead. You said everything about Doc. Doc's the worst, dude. It's crazy. His timeouts, the fact that Embiid can only come in at 7 minutes left. It's the fourth quarter. It's the most important quarter of the entire game, and he decides that's going to be the quarter that Embiid sits for half of. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you're going to sit him in any other quarter, Embiid had 32 minutes, and like I know you can't play him 40 minutes a night, and I'm not asking for that, but if we could play him for 35, 36 minutes a night, we win that team. We win that game by 20 plus. No excuse. Maxey didn't miss a shot in the first quarter, and he had 9 points. And for some reason, he didn't even hit double digit shot attempts for the game. And I honestly think it's this stupid dribble handoff that Seth Curry tries to do with Embiid that leads to so many shots that Seth Curry is shooting. And it's a very productive play for the majority of the season for the most part. But Seth Curry has been so bad lately, like so bad. His field goal percentage from three has been I forget the number, but it was like really well below league average, or even a little even solid. It's been terrible. I think it was under 30%. So these guys need to realize, along with their coach, that sometimes, dude, you're not the hot hand and you're not a superstar. So take a back seat to the guy who's going to be shooting better. And Tyrese Maxey is clearly that guy. Like, he had 16 points and 6 assists on 9 field goal attempts. We need to get him the ball more and just stagger minutes with him and Embiid. And like, if my thing is, like, we have Tyrese Maxey just standing in the 3-point corner when the starters are playing, and I'm like, dude, he's the second best player on the offense. He creates more opportunities than anybody, right up there with Embiid. And if it takes that Maxey's going to be just a little bit tired with Embiid on the court, then you have to play him more when Embiid's off the court, because it's Joel Embiid. We let him run everything, and that's as we should. The dude had 40 points tonight. He's the only reason we won that game. But man, it's frustrating. It's so because it's the same problems over and over again. We just get bailed out because we have an MVP on our team.
Yes, that's such a good way to point it. If we get bailed out, I know the more casual fans of the game, click on these videos sometimes and come to the stream, and they hear us being negative after a win, and they don't quite understand why, and they're like, "We just won the game. Why are you guys so negative?" or whatever. And it's just because we're watching the entirety of the game from start to finish, and we're really breaking down things that we saw within the game, and it does feel like you get bailed out. They went on those runs. It feels like Doc Rivers tries to lose. Joel Embiid says, "All right, fine, I got this. Give me the ball." And it does feel like we get bailed out by Joel Embiid. This is a game that without Joel Embiid, we pretty easily get mopped off of the floor by the Chicago Bulls. So that's why I said plenty of times before, when people said without Ben Simmons, we're not even going to make the playoffs, without Ben Simmons this, without Ben Simmons that. When you have Joel Embiid on your team, you're a playoff team no matter what. It doesn't matter. He could take some D1 college players to the NBA playoffs. I honestly think that he just draws too much attention. 40 points in 32 minutes. Vucevic was absolute barbecue chicken from the beginning of the game. There was nothing, no answer at all. Joel just nothing at all. Just
they got to trade Vooch. Vooch is like the one thing the Chicago Bulls just it doesn't work. It does. He does not work on that team.
It looks random. It kind of looks random. Like his shot, it doesn't look like it flows with the offense. But that might be DeMar DeRozan, having 30 field goal attempts. Maybe they're on 100% of their game plan shouldn't be DeMar DeRozan shooting 2-point mid-range jumpers. I know he had 45 points, but there's times in that game, looking at the Chicago Bulls, there's times in that game where you're trading twos for threes the whole game, and it's cool. He's unstoppable from mid-range. When the other team's hitting threes, the Chicago Bulls have to have a different game plan than that. But yeah, I agree. Vucevic, he just looks kind of random in that offense. But he was getting cooked by Embiid. But we had speaking of DeMar DeRozan, we had absolutely no answer for him. I was laughing out loud in the third quarter when there was 3 straight possessions of Furkan Korkmaz one-on-one with DeMar DeRozan, who was the hottest he's been all season in this game. And how in the world could that be your plan? We talk about staggering lineups a lot. How could you have your lineup staggered to the point, or not staggered, to the point where Furkan's trying to guard DeMar DeRozan?
Terrible. It's also like I've reached the point where I'm like I cannot watch Seth Curry play backup point guard anymore. If there has been a game that shows you that we need a backup point guard, it was today. I can't, dude. He's literally a spot up shooter, and he's a great spot up shooter. Let him spot up and shoot, because outside of that, he doesn't do anything. Bringing the ball up and running point guard with Furkan Korkmaz or point guard Seth Curry, it drives me up a wall, dude. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. It really doesn't work. I wonder what goes through Doc's head. I really like. I wonder if he's like, let me just maintain the storm. Let's see what moves we can get made and then changed by the playoffs, or is he just like literally clueless and thinks what he's doing is what's best to win a game?
He has some kind of love affair with Furkan Korkmaz. It's unbelievable.
Dude,
it is. Like I said last. Isaiah Joe had the back-to-back games, 10 points in one game, 11 points in the next game with Furkan out. And I said, and on that stream when we were with like 6 people on that stream, I said, as soon as Korkmaz comes back, Isaiah Joe's on the deep bench. You're never going to see him again. You're going to see Furkan the whole game. And that's exactly what happened. And it makes me laugh. I can't figure out what this guy's obsession is with him. And it's not just because I feel like Isaiah Joe's a better offensive player. I do think Korkmaz is a better ball handler and has point guard like assets, I guess, minimally. If you have 0 point guards and you need a backup, I guess Furkan is the only guy you can point to off of the bench to do that. But it blows my mind, Doc's love affair with Furkan Korkmaz. And defensively, he is a cardboard cutout. I mean, DeRozan was just looking at him, not even making a move, just dribbling right past him.
Yeah, he's tough, man, and like it is a limited roster, so like he doesn't have much to use. And with Shake Milton out, that hurts. It really hurts because like this is when he could come in and be that backup point guard. But Shake's not really a backup point guard either. He's more of a 2 guard. So like it doesn't really solve the problem. And I love Seth Curry, and Furkan is my least favorite Sixer of all time, but like if you play these guys in the natural positions that they should be playing, you maximize their value and their talent, and Doc just doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. And then what leads to it is 15 shot attempts from Seth Curry, and the majority of them are mid-range jumpers. I'm like, no, that's not how this is anymore. How many times do you see his brother shoot mid-range jumpers? And I'm not comparing the 2 players, I'm comparing the systems that they're around, Like, get the 3-point shooter to shoot threes. Don't have him run off of elbow screens and then take contested mid-range jumpers when his shot's not falling to begin with.
Yeah, Seth Curry shoots a ton of mid-range jumpers, and I honestly think that he thinks he is a combo point guard. There's so many times. The whole first 8 minutes of the first quarter, I was tweeting, I again have seen the majority of the first quarter with no Tyrese Maxey action, and we were down 2 at the time, I believe. But the whole first part of that first quarter was Tobias pick and roll, Seth Curry pick and roll, and I just don't understand why from the very first part of the game we wouldn't have Tyrese Maxey controlling the game. And as soon as we went to Maxey and they ran a couple of pick and rolls, he came around the screen and hit a mid-range jumper. He came around the screen and hit a 3. He came around the screen and hit another 3. And we went on a 7-0 run. As soon as we started using Tyrese Maxey, when is Doc going to understand this?
That's the thing. Like, I love Seth Curry. I love him. And I love a lot of the guys on the team when we use them the right way. The only reason I ever get mad at these guys is because Doc Rivers just doesn't play them. He doesn't implement them the right way. Tyrese Maxey has to have the ball in his hands more. He has to be creating opportunities. We have to drive and kick out the shooters. Like, you remember the first half when we were making threes, it's because we had a lot of inside-out game, and that's how you score in the NBA. We're not just going to be ISOing and then something falls in our lap. It doesn't work like that. We just need to play these guys the right way. And Doc has a limited roster, but Doc, with what he has, still doesn't do the right thing.
Right. So outside of, speaking of like limited rosters, outside of a James Harden trade, I think, I don't know if you agree or not, I would say probably your biggest target would be a backup point guard.
Yeah, that's our biggest need for sure. Whether it's going to be buyout market or a trade, I just hope it's not George Hill again, because I can't go through another veteran experiment that doesn't work because the dude's 2 years past his prime.
I think was that last year or was that the Brett Brown year?
No, that was last year.
Yeah, and George Hill said, yeah, and he came out and said that I think I'm thinking of the Brett Brown year when the players came out and said they didn't know what their role was on the team. I feel like George Hill said that though. I don't know. but it looked like he didn't know what
Maybe
his role was on
we
the team.
barely played him in the playoffs because he was unplayable.
Yeah, it just looked like he didn't have an actual role. He would just ran get the ball and be like, okay, now I have to try to do something, and it just it didn't work. But that I think part of that is because I think Daryl tried to give Doc a backup point guard, but I don't think there was any type of practice sessions or scrimmages or anything using George Hill as a
No, because
backup point guard.
even if you remember when we got him, he didn't play right away because he was hurt. Like we got him when he was hurt.
Oh yeah,
So
he had like a
the dude
wrist
took like
injury.
3 weeks to actually come back and play, and by that time there were like 10 games left in the season. We're like, oh well, what are we gonna do?
Yeah. Oh, that was the year with Glenn Robinson came out and said nobody knew what the role was on the team with Brett Brown. And
God.
after we what did we do? We cut not Alec Burks, Trey Burke. We cut Trey Burke and James Ennis, and there was no bench left. And then Elton tries to give Doc some bench players. No, Elton tries to give Brett some bench players. I mix up Brett and Doc so much lately.
They're the same guy. They're the same guy, dude. Oh,
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, but I would just feel like that would be. A report came out today that somebody's saying that the Sixers are unwilling to trade Seth Curry.
like I mean, yeah, like a 50-50 on it because like 50% of me is like if we're not trading for a superstar, then like yeah, unless like because like it just comes down to fit, and Seth, logistically fits with Embiid, right? Like you surround him with the best shooters you can. So I understand that, but like if Seth Curry is like the moving piece to go out and get James Harden, you have to make that move.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's
You
no
know,
way.
like,
There's no way you're saying no to that James Harden trade because if they want Seth Curry.
no, and so much of it is like I don't even know what's real anymore. I don't know what reports real. I don't know. The trade deadline just confuses me. So it's like I feel like the Pacers are going to blow it up now, but they don't have anybody that's going to come to Philadelphia. So that doesn't do anything for Philly. And I just think at the end of the day, Philly is just going to sit on everything, ride it out, and then in the offseason be forced to make a move because they see it doesn't work.
Yeah, definitely. Trades have already started. Karis LeVert to the Cavs for basically nothing.
Yeah. It was Rubio, a lottery protected first in 2 seconds.
What is it? I haven't seen Rubio play in years.
He's
like
out for the year. He's out for the year. He
wow.
was playing well,
Yeah,
but he tore his ACL, I think.
So I guess we could look at it like if Daryl Morey was planning on not trading Ben Simmons at the deadline and planning on not making a big attempt at James Harden at the deadline because a lot of people think it's all smoke and mirrors. Karis LeVert is one of the smaller trades that he probably would have tried to make because we were talking about him a lot over the course of this season in like that combo ball handling scorer type of guy to put on the wing. So I think that tells me that something's going to happen at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, I think the deadline's going to be more active than I originally thought it would be, but I don't know about Philly. I don't know. Because, like, just financially, we don't have much we can move. Like, Tobias Harris is probably not going to get traded. Ben Simmons is probably not going to get traded. And Embiid's not getting traded, obviously. So those are the 3 most expensive guys on our team. And then after that, it's just like, what are we going to do? What could we do that really is going to shift momentum in our favor to being a contender? Other teams are going to get a lot better. And I don't think we have the ability to get a lot better.
Well, no, it has to be a Ben Simmons trade or it has to be a Tobias Harris trade, I guess. If teams are watching the last 4 or 5 games, I feel like Tobias Harris trade value went up significantly.
I hope so. I hope they just snoozed on the Mavs game and didn't end up watching the end of it because oh my God, that game was painful to watch for him.
Is that when he got the ball in the fast break at the end of the game and was stuck in quicksand and couldn't pass it ahead?
For like the second night in a row. Tobias is, I just like, everything's been seeming to be so amplified for me. I watch him and I'm only seeing negatives. Even when he's making a shot, I'm like, there was a better shot that we could have taken in that possession.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Biased, but
No, I feel the same way. He runs out the shot clock a lot. You call him a ball stopper. He's definitely a ball stopper. He gets the ball and is like, all right, my turn, and takes 17 dribbles to get a turnaround fadeaway. Um, and when he's making shots like that, it's all fun and it's all good. And he'll have games like this where he gives you 23. Um, but in the grand scheme of things, he would be better suited on another team. I just forever don't think he's a great fit next to Joel Embiid. You just need quick guys that can catch and shoot, make one move, you know, catch the ball in the perimeter, make one move and go, shoot the ball, keep it moving. You need to everything has to revolve around Joel Embiid. I think we're getting closer to having a roster around him that makes sense in the past 6 years. But I think Tobias Harris is standing out to me as the guy that still doesn't fit.
Yeah, I mean, and now that it's Maury's reign, I think he agrees with you, and I think he is like trying the best he can do right now to fit Embiid. But the Tobias Harris contract is so hard to move and actually get value in return, and he understands. It's just such a weird position because the Sixers are good, but we're not great. And
Yes.
we have these guys locked down for years and years and years. The one doesn't even want to play basketball anymore, and the other one has shown no signs of improvement, has shown no signs of playing around the star player. And then we have a star player who you don't know how long his window is, but he wants to win here. So it's like you have to go out and just build around Embiid, and we haven't done that. We haven't even tried to do that over the past couple of seasons, and now I think Maury's finally like trying to put his footmark on the team. So I mean,
Yeah.
I feel a little bit more positive about the future, but it's so tough because we just the Tobias Harris contract kills us.
I would not be shocked if you see Tobias Harris traded for a second round pick. I would not be shocked if you see him traded for something that doesn't just to clear those just to clear that contract. I'm like people are going to go nuts about it, but I would not be shocked at all. You saw Daryl Morey come in here. The first 5 minutes he was hired. He walked in his office. He sat down. He opened his laptop. He picked up the phone and he traded Al Horford. That in 6 minutes, he was
Yeah,
like, okay, number one, obviously, I mean, everyone in the world knows what has to happen right here. I don't know why you guys haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do it. Right when he came in, he traded Al Horford and Josh Richardson. So I think I agree with you, and I think he agrees with us that his main focus from the time he got here is building the roster the right way around Joel Embiid. I think maybe he thought he was also going to build it around Ben Simmons. Now that's not a thing, but yeah, Al Horford out the door, Josh Richardson out the door. Okay, center. Why the hell do we have two centers that we're trying to play together? Josh Richardson's a terrible 3-point shooter. Why do we have him on the floor with Joel Embiid? So he got those two guys out, and I think he's. There was rumors that he tried to move Tobias in the Kings deal or the Kings rumored whatever. He denied it on the radio, but I believe it. I think he tried to say, listen, if you're only going to give us Halliburton and Harrison Barnes, then you got to take Tobias also. So I think
yeah,
he's trying to throw him in there. That would be huge.
it would be. And I think what a lot of Sixers fans don't understand is like the way that if we don't move Ben Simmons, inevitably it's kind of punting on this season, right? And if we trade Tobias Harris this year for strictly for cap flexibility, as much as I don't like Tobias Harris, it is still punting on this season. So if we hold on to Simmons and don't move him, we might as well trade Tobias Harris strictly to open up cap space for the offseason because it's not about this year, it's about the offseason. And if that's the approach that Morey wants to take with Ben Simmons, then it makes sense to even punt it even further and get rid of Tobias Harris for like, I don't know, something that is on an expiring deal, like a couple of expiring deals that can still be okay this year, won't make a huge negative losing Tobias Harris, but also giving us more opportunity to actually change this roster this offseason, which we need to do so badly. So badly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because look, we're what are we right now? We were fifth in the East before this game started. I don't know what we're at
Yeah,
right now,
we're a
but
game and a half out. Game and a half out.
yeah, yeah.
Which
So
is
like you said, we're
crazy. I
good.
mean, that shows you how good Embiid has been. So it's like if Morey wants to stick with that stance of like Embiid can do it on his own, and Embiid's come out and basically said it himself, like then yeah, I think Tobias Harris gone makes Embiid even better of a player.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think everybody needs to recognize that Tyrese Maxey in a pick and roll. Even though we said Joel Embiid's not a good roller to the rim, he pops a lot. But the more I see him and Tyrese Maxey on a pick and roll, pick and pop, whatever, it's becoming unstoppable. And what Tyrese did in this first quarter was like, wow,
Yeah.
And I feel like if he would have been a major part of the offense for the rest of the game, he would have dropped 30. It would have been, I think we're getting close to seeing a game where Joel drops 40 and Tyrese drops 30. Doc, like the fourth quarter, end of the third quarter, into the fourth quarter. Okay, he goes with his bench lineup plus Tobias. I still don't really know what his obsession is with that. Furcon was on the floor, so that's better than last game where there's absolutely no ball handling creator at all. But he leaves Maxey out 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. The kid's 21 years old.
Yeah. You said that. Yeah, you've said that so many times that he's 21. Literally, he's a kid. He's got plenty of energy, dude. Look at the way he plays.
Yeah. He finishes the game with 38 minutes. And I part of it is that Joel was putting the team on his back, and I guess he felt like I don't know. I try so hard to understand what Doc's thinking. I sit here and go through it, and I'm like, what is he thinking? I don't know. Swipe Cam, what's up, man? Swipe Cam is Denver Nuggets content creator, big Jokic supporter, of course. Relies super heavily on advanced statistics to argue that Nikola Jokic is better than Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is the best. We're going to delete the word pure right there. Joel Embiid is the best big man in the NBA. Easy. So thank you for admitting that, Swipa. We appreciate you. Nikola Jokic is the second best big man in the NBA, and we're all going to come to an agreement and be great friends about it.
Well said. Well said, Swipa. Appreciate you saying that, man.
He had to put the word pure in there.
Yeah, dude, I love Nuggets fans, man. They're funny. It's advanced analytics, and like everyone's become such a nerd in Denver all of a sudden.
Swipe, I love you. We love you.
That's funny.
But you know how we get down. But yeah, Joel was absolutely unstoppable in this game. I mean,
unreal, man.
Crazy. 40 points, 40 and 10 in 32 minutes. 3 assists, plus 11. What more can you say, man? What more can you say, man?
Yeah.
Aaron, what's up, man? I was so pissed when we had our starters back on the floor in the fourth and we ran pick and roll with Seth and Toby and not Maxey, who was on fire. Listen, not just the fourth quarter. I feel like Doc watched it work in the first and totally went away from it the rest of the game again. And we won the game on the back of Joel Embiid, and George Niang hit some big shots in the fourth, and even Korkmaz had some big plays in the third quarter. That bench lineup was holding the lead for the most part. But I feel like what he does with his lineups he did it last year, and if we get to the playoffs and Tyrese Maxey has less field goal attempts than Seth Curry and Tobias Harris, it's going to kill us in the playoffs. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's – I want to know. I honestly want to be a fly on the room when it comes to just like practices and like and post-game talks or whatever. I want to know, is it Tyrese Maxey that takes the back seat because he doesn't think mentally he's there yet, or is it Doc Rivers holding him back? And as much as I dislike Furkan Korkmaz, I think he had an okay game tonight. He had a couple of plays where I was like, we needed that, and that's enough. Give him like 12 minutes max. Maybe he can have like 2 good plays. And if he's shooting well that night, play him a little bit more. But we just don't have the depth that we can even do that. And it's frustrating because it always comes down to bench depth, and the Sixers never seem to have it.
Never seem to have it. Year after year after year. It's crazy. And it never seem to have veteran, proven, like journeyman type of NBA players. Like, why don't they ever land here?
Yeah. What's up with like the dudes that like everybody hates if they're not on your team? The Sixers don't really have many guys like that. That's why the Niang signing was good.
Yeah.
That's a good signing. Yeah. And we got him for a couple of years. Like, he's a guy, he's gritty. He hits the 3 ball, but he can't get a rebound. And Javonte Green has that almost posterized dunk on 3 guys, because the Sixers, no one can jump. When Embiid's off the court, no one can jump. And like the Bulls are just athletic. Like, they're a really athletic team, and man, we're lucky that they missed out on 3 starters tonight, because we wouldn't have won that game.
Yeah, here's a good one. double Embiid every single play, and you will beat the Sixers. I don't get why coaches don't do that. Make other well, I mean, yeah, you've seen better defensive teams. I don't know what the Bulls defense. I haven't looked at like what their defensive ratings are or anything like that, but it didn't look like they had much of a plan to slow down Joel Embiid. They were just kind of leaving Vucevic out there 1-on-1 the whole first half, and he was getting absolutely shredded. And it wasn't even like dominant post moves. This guy's playing like a 7'2", 280-pound shooting guard.
Yeah.
And he just takes the ball. His ball handling is absolutely insane for a man his size. I'm gonna say the best I've ever seen for a man his size. Just crossover through the legs, hezzy right, hezzy left. The one that he had around the baseline in the first quarter, where it was ridiculous. Like
that was nasty. That was
yeah,
so disgusting. He's become so patient with he's so confident that he's going to score that he doesn't pick up his dribble as much as he used to, and that's where we always fell into turnover problems because Embiid would get doubled, and as soon as he got doubled, he'd get nervous, pick up the dribble, and then have a throw. He would throw the ball away. But now he'll take that extra couple of dribbles, and then all of a sudden he spins by Vooch on the baseline and he dunks it. That's the huge improvement that he's made, and obviously his passing out of the double teams this year is the best it's ever been. It's never been this good. He's making cross court passes, one arm. It's beautiful, but he still does have those plays where you're like, dude, just put in a little bit more effort on that pass, and it's getting there. That pass that he missed on Tobias Harris on the low post today, I'm like, oh my god, man, that's an easy pass to make, but he's just a little off. That's the only thing he has to worry about. He's the most complete player that I've ever seen play for a Sixers team, and one of the most complete players in the NBA. But it's just a little bit of 100% awareness of in the game, being in the game. He sometimes goes on lapses, but not as much anymore because he's incredible.
Yeah, I think he partly needs to give the ball back to Maxey at the top of the key sometimes too. And there was a play where I was yelling swing. I don't remember who. Tobias took 23 and a half seconds to post up somebody like he usually does. It wasn't really that long, but they kick it out. And Seth swings it to Joe, and Maxey's in the corner, and Joe just holds the ball. And I'm like, swing it, man. God, just swing. Why can't this team swing the ball, man?
Even Embiid does it. Embiid doesn't really swing it very quick. Granted, he's 7'2", and I understand. And he feels like he needs to be the one to score, so I understand it. But, we just do not have ball movement. It never have ball movement.
There's just this everybody wants to be the man kind of thing still.
Except the guy that we want to be the man. Isn't that the funniest part? The guy that we want to be the man isn't being the man. And we're like, dude, you got to just give Tyrese the keys. Tell Tobias to sit down. He's not what he used to be. And it's like Russell Westbrook. Just somebody tell him, dude, it's not it.
Oh, yeah.
Not anymore.
Did you see the clip from last night, or was it today?
Off the backboard?
No, the Lakers were up by 6 or something, and they kick it to him in the corner. It's 3 minutes left in the game, and the crowd's chanting for him to not shoot the ball.
Oh, yeah, and he shoots it, and he misses it. Dude, he's been crazy in L.A. And you don't really hear about it, but the one time Philly boos one person.
I see it on Twitter all the time. They're booing Westbrook, and now the crowd's literally chanting for him to not shoot the ball. It's getting embarrassing, man. Aaron, what's up, man? Our cultivated backup players leave and become valued role players. The Pacers without McConnell are a mess. Ish Smith and Rocco always do their thing. I'm a Ish Smith stan account, man. I love that dude. I absolutely love that dude. I can't even believe he's still playing. I feel like he's been in the league for 15 years. And who's he even playing for? We were playing against him a week ago or so. I don't even know who he plays for. Charlotte?
Washington?
No. I think he plays for Charlotte. People in the chat, let me know if I'm wrong.
You might be right. Also, Rocco is having a terrible season, but yeah, I do get the point.
Yeah, he does play for the Hornets. Yeah, it was Charlotte because I remember I said, why wouldn't the Charlotte Hornets? Because they have so many point guards. They have so many combo guards that can beat you off the dribble. I'm like, oh, of course they have Ish Smith also, who's going to come in as the fourth string point guard and kill us. And, he probably had a season high in that game. DeRozan, season high 45. We have to lead the league in season high.
Oh, we love giving up perimeter player season highs. We've been doing it since Kemba dropped 60 on our heads in Charlotte.
Yeah, I was with Jimmy Butler on the team.
Yeah, they actually that was the buzzer beater Jimmy Butler game.
TJ Warren in the bubble,
Oh my
49,
god.
49 maybe, or maybe more than that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're the season high team. Players wake up excited to play the Sixers, man. I'm about to have a career high, season high, all
As
that.
long as they're a perimeter player, they'll kill us. Even Ish Smith kind of kills us usually.
Yeah, he had us. I'm pretty sure he had season high stats with the Hornets when we played him two weeks ago. Ish had 30 against the Lakers. Wow. Uh, we lack perimeter length and athleticism.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we
it.
do. I think the Rockets made Eric Gordon available. That was announced today.
Mm. I liked him in Cleveland, and now that Cleveland got Karis LeVert, maybe not.
Could Eric
Also,
Gordon
Eric Gordon, bro.
be could Eric Gordon be a B level move for the Sixers?
Yeah. I don't know how we would match that contract. I don't know how much he's making, but I want to say it's like 20 million.
It's probably a lot. It's probably too much.
Yeah, probably. Plus, I mean, he's awesome offensively, but that doesn't address any defensive issues that we have. And I think our defense is a big problem.
Our defense, yes, absolutely. Our transition defense is a big problem. Our
It's
interior
just
defense is a big problem.
no athleticism. It's just so apparent. It's such an apparent issue. Like Furkan's not athletic. Niang, he's awesome, but he's not athletic. Danny Green hasn't been athletic since like the Spurs run in like '08. Yeah, dude, the whole
Danny Green in this game had a step back three, like a dribble, then back through the legs. And I was like, is that Danny Green that I just saw do that?
and he splashed it.
Yeah. And then he got a little bit ahead of himself. Then he had to play a couple possessions later or the next quarter where he drove baseline, had a wide open layup, but he's Danny Green.
Yeah.
And who swatted it? Somebody
I think it was
swatted it.
Javante Green. I think it was Javante Green.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, he teed off on that ball. It was hilarious. Danny
It
Green
was
hardly
hilarious.
he hardly gets off the floor.
I
he
think
thought he
I think Danny Green, like he's making like 11 million a year, I think. So he might be the guy that we move just to financially, make sense for a trade. I kind of love that. Danny Green,
Yeah, I
Eric
like that
Gordon would
too.
be a huge upgrade.
The Nets lost their eighth game in a row.
Yeah.
James Harden. They lose 124 to 104 to the Denver Nuggets. Was that today? Was there a lot of early games today? That was today.
I think it was today.
They lose 124 to 104 to the Denver Nuggets. James Harden once again was not on the sideline with the Brooklyn Nets. So they keep denying everything, but then he's not on the sideline.
I know.
And
And like you said, Ben Simmons also happened to not play today, so something
exactly, something's fishy. Ben Simmons was
something's
ruled
fishy,
out.
man.
James Harden was ruled out. Something's fishy.
Ben Simmons' personal reasons too. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Mental health
Yeah.
reasons, I think.
Oh my god.
Somebody today said James Harden. What did they say? Who was it, man? I think the Philly Pod. My guy Victor from the Philly Pod or something. James Harden. Maybe it wasn't him. He's gonna be like, "Yo, I didn't say that." And what are you talking about? Maybe it wasn't you, man. But somebody basically said James Harden essentially went to Brooklyn because he wanted an easy ring. No, it wasn't Victor. It was somebody else. He went to Brooklyn because he wanted an easy ring, and the first sign of adversity, he quit. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I disagree. I think the big thing is like he's getting so much blame that should be directed towards Kyrie Irving. I think so much of this is Kyrie's fault. Like I don't know. Harden has he's the type of guy that people hate on really quickly, but just because of who he is and how he looks and what he's done in the past with Houston and coming to Brooklyn to form a big three, and he was the third guy to come around. So like it's easy to hate on him for those reasons, but like Kyrie Irving is, I think, absolutely the problem to that team. I think all three of those guys, it's like the three people I would never put on a team together. They are the
Exactly.
three worst personalities. They're all the worst. Like
Yeah.
really, I don't even dislike the Nets, but those three guys, like I'm the biggest KD hater. Kyrie is the worst teammate in NBA history, and Harden is not the dude you bring to fix those problems. It's not a
No.
Harden thing. It's all of them. It's a whole thing. Kyrie's the
Yeah.
problem.
I love being right about that, man. When they got those three guys together, the sports world exploded. It's over. It's done. We're done. The NBA's done. The next Golden State Warriors are here. The Nets are winning a championship for the next 5 years in a row. That's it. And I said, dude, first of all, it's not going to take very long for this to implode. Like, how did people not think this? I know I'm speaking about ESPN people, and they're basically just they clock in, they read what they're supposed to say on the script, and they clock out. They're not so they're pushing a narrative, or they're just trying to have entertaining stories on the TV. I don't think it's real at all. Anybody that really knows ball did not look at that team and say, "Yeah, this team's going to dominate the NBA." There's no supporting cast. They traded their entire bench to bring in these guys. They were better off not making the James Harden trade and running with Kyrie and Kevin Durant and trying to fill out the roster. You don't need 3 ball dominant scorers on a team. So and here you go. Like I said yesterday or the day before, I didn't think it was going to be because Kyrie refused to take a vaccine, but I knew that Kyrie would implode this team somehow, some way. And my opinion on the James Harden, I think he went there because he wanted a ring. He was tired of putting up 60-point triple doubles in Houston and losing. But right now, he's frustrated with Kyrie Irving not playing. And then Kevin Durant goes out for 8 weeks. And he's like, here I am again. Actually, this team might be worse right now than the Houston team I was on. And here I am again, dropping 30-point triple doubles and losing. So I'm out.
It's crazy how Brooklyn trading Jared Allen killed him. Look at the Cavs right now, dude. The Cavs just got Karis LeVert. Now Jared Allen's should have been an All-Star. I'm pissed about that. I hope the Cavs meet Brooklyn in like the first round and the Cavs win. Just because it shows you like how terrible that move was in retrospect. I mean, Jared Allen is exactly what the Brooklyn Nets need. Literally 100% what they need. And they traded him just because they needed another star.
A young, athletic as hell, rim-running center that can just block shots, catch alley-oops. He was incredible for them. And, when you value big names over a supporting cast and depth, that's what happens. And even if all 3 of them are healthy, I'm not scared of that team because, like I say all the time, if each guy gives you 30, you got 90 points. You know, what else you got? I know they're out Joe Harris right now too, and Joe Harris is big time for him, but I was never scared of that team. That Jared Allen trade is crazy.
I think if you're a team in the East, you need to have a big man who can stop Embiid, even just the way it is now. And they literally traded Jared Allen, the one guy who arguably could be one of the best guys in the NBA when it comes to stopping Embiid. And you're going to see the Sixers 4 times a year, and you traded him for a player that you already have 2 of.
Yes.
Like, it's not like Harden's like this elite spot-up shooter. He's a guy who performs with the ball in his hands. So is Kyrie Irving, and so is KD for the most part. KD's better, obviously, but what are you doing going out and getting the exact same thing, like triplets of the same kid, when you need much more than that? I don't know.
All right. To me, it's basic math. Like, if Kyrie and Durant take 30 shots each, and they give you, say they take 25 shots each, and they give you 35 and 33. You put James Harden in the middle. He's just taking shots that they would be taking and scoring points that they would be scoring. I don't think it's really helping you out that much.
Right, and Harden is not that much better than Kyrie to justify that. Like, they're all basically on an equal efficiency playing field that you're like, it doesn't make any sense to go out and get another 30-shot guy when all you need is a supporting cast. Like, it shows the Sixers. The Sixers don't have the supporting cast. Like, Harden would help Philly a lot more because we don't have, a guard other than Maxey, really. But it's crazy how there are so many different problems for so many different organizations, and they're all dealing with it, and and they're probably all so frustrated. I've been all over Brooklyn Nets Twitter lately, and they are they don't want to see Harden ever play again for them. And Steve Nash comes out saying we're not going to trade him. Like, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to say?
Yeah, they're definitely trading him, and I don't think it's going to take. I don't think it's going to take a package that people think it's going to take. I don't. I think they are basically accepting the fact that Ben Simmons is the best option right here.
Yeah. And it's also, I think it's interesting how the beginning of the season, all the Bleacher Report trade opportunities you see were like CJ McCollum, Ben Simmons. That's it. Like that's every single trade was always CJ McCollum for Ben Simmons. And if we could go out and get Harden, I mean, it's just a better CJ McCollum.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going
Yeah,
to be that
exactly.
huge of a package either because they know that Ben Simmons or Harden's not going to resign. I mean, dude, they're shooing him out of the city like we did with Ben. So
Yeah, and he's probably like, dude, I'm stuck out here, with a guy playing half of the games and now a guy that's hurt, and I'm stuck out here trying to pass the ball to Bruce Brown and you know what I mean, whoever else is on this team,
yeah,
like
for real. But it
Patty
also makes
Mills.
Brooklyn better. Like it makes Brooklyn better. It's just literally it's addition by subtraction, and you're adding a defensive anchor that you desperately needed, and a guy who's you're never gonna fear is taking too many shots. Like the fit with Ben in Brooklyn is ideal. It's one of the best in the league. But it's the only thing I think that the only reason that the trade hasn't been made up until this point is the fact that they're division rivals. You don't really see like the Nets and Sixers make trades together. You don't really see like division rivals make big blockbuster trades like that for obvious reasons. That's the only reason I think something hasn't been made.
That's true. But do you think it's going to happen at the trade deadline?
Uh, I do. I do think so.
Yeah, I can't grasp it. I can't grasp it. I can't. I don't even know what I will do if that actually goes down. Like I think we're getting closer to that being realistic. I just can't even. I can't even handle the thought of it. I can't even
No.
handle the thought of. And 360 people in here. Everybody hit the thumbs up. Follow Greg on YouTube at Greg Melly. Follow Greg on Twitter at Greg Melly. Everybody in here and everybody that follows my channel knows how much I've absolutely despised Ben Simmons for over 2 seasons now. And I mean, like on a personal level, on an actual personal level, people hated me so much for it. Like it's a game and you're out here talking about his life and how he was raised and how he grew up and you're talking about his dad and you're talking about I can't stand him as a person.
Yeah, me
He's
neither.
he's awful. He is I hate I when he I think honestly one of the first straws for me, not the final straw, but one of the first straws for me was this dude posting pictures of his Bentley before he ever played an NBA game. He was so excited to get that first check and be rich and be a celebrity on Instagram. And I saw that red flag from a mile away. Because guys
That's
don't do that.
that's a red flag. That's a big time red flag. I have a question for you though. Um, this is going to be a question to the chat too because I just saw a comment and this makes me want to ask you something. If the Sixers win one championship in like the first 2 years, we get Harden, say we get him this offseason, then we win next year, and we sign him to a 5-year deal. Is it worth winning one championship over dealing with the last 2-3 years of of that contract of being terrible?
Yes.
Thank you. I
Yes.
agree.
Because I'm 35 years old. I've been watching basketball since '95. I started watching right before the year before Allen Iverson was drafted, which was a terrible year. They had Jerry Stackhouse and nobody else. They were atrocious. They had the worst record in the league, and they got the #1 overall pick and drafted Allen Iverson. What a perfect time to start watching basketball. The Sixers were awful, but they got this player that revived the entire city and franchise, and they were never able to put anything around him the entire time. The entire time. Every year was Allen Iverson, a bunch of nobodies. And I'm seeing the same thing with Joel Embiid. So if they break that cycle of 20 years of having a superstar and nobody else, even for one single season, you get a
I'll
ring
deal
out of
with another 10 years of tank. I will deal with another 10 years.
Yeah.
That's all it is, dude. It's just one championship, and that's the way you got to look at it. That's the only way you got to look at it. That's what Morey does.
I want to be in the finals. I want to watch every finals game, every minute of every finals game. I want to be at a 76ers parade down Broad Street in Philly, man.
More than
That's
anything.
what I want.
More than anything, bro.
And that's people's main issue with it is that Harden's 33, and then what do you do the next, 5 years?
It doesn't matter if we win a championship.
I agree.
That's why people trade 10 first-round picks for stuff. That's what it is. You
Nikola MVP Jokic.
What's up? Damn, DJ's gone. Where you at, DJ? What's up, fellas? Guys, it comes down to you just win one championship. That's all it takes. It's one championship. Deal with 5 years of that later. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, I thought the whole show crashed, man. I
Nah,
don't know what happened. I was like, hey, we did this. I did this whole thing on my iPhone. That's pretty impressive for technology. And I thought it finally just like went haywire and crashed and deleted everything. But there's a super chat that I want to read. Where is it? Man? There you go, Aaron Cabbage. I want to put it on the screen now. Aaron Cabbage, definitely the run it back MVP, man. Always donating to the channel. Thank you for your support. I can't put it on the screen, unfortunately, because I can't figure it out. But he says 25 may be a weak-minded POS, but last season he was the best perimeter defender in the NBA, and that's the only part of his game that doesn't die come postseason time. That's exactly what the Nets need. What'd you think?
Yeah, I've never hated Ben Simmons, but I was also never like his biggest supporter because I knew what he was. But like, I was always the guy who said he should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's the best perimeter defender in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that, and I mean Brooklyn needs that so bad. So do we, dude. We miss Ben Simmons at times. As much as I hate to say it, like we do miss him. Games like this, DeRozan wouldn't have dropped 45 if Ben was there. So yeah, it's a win-win for both teams.
Yeah, I agree.
Resign Harden. Like, I don't know. What are you doing? Just trade the man for your biggest need with a guy who will never outshoot Kyrie or KD.
He will never take the ball from your stars. I promise you.
Never. He'll sit on the other side of the court if you guys want him to. He does not care. He has no interest in that, man.
Yeah, even I admit that we miss Ben Simmons at his certain things that he does, man. That's why this is the absolute perfect scenario for what the Nets need, for what Ben Simmons' game needs. You need things on your team to hide his deficiencies. He can't be the number 2 guy offensively on a basketball team. He's not. He's not going to help you in the half court in the playoffs at all. But if your biggest need is defense and you need to pick up the pace, and you're willing to pay max money for a guy like that, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, plus it's just you're going to lose Harden, and you might as well get something in return before you just let a, superstar top 15 player just walk for nothing. So, I mean, Ben Simmons is like, he could be a good 5. I don't mean like center. I just mean like 5th option on a team. Like, that's where you need him. And like, I'm sure they'll have their problems, and I'm sure we can do a hack of Ben Simmons thing in the 4th quarter, and I'm sure Ben's going to find his way to make his ridiculous antics make his team lose at some point in the playoffs. But, I mean, if there is a system that you can hide all of his flaws, it's the one with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Like, 2 of the best generational scorers we've had in the last 20 years. Like, Ben doesn't need to go half-court crazy. Literally, just tell him to run baseline and set picks the whole time. What we should have done the whole time. Yeah. They actually have a point guard who can run it.
Yeah, we struggled trying to figure out Ben Simmons' game for a couple of years. We were talking about Brett Brown starting T.J. McConnell at point guard once we were down 3-0 to the Celtics in the playoffs. That was my thing always. The guy's not a point guard, bro. He's a point forward. He's not as aggressive as a Giannis, but it's how you have to use him. You can't have how. I'll never understand it. All I need to see was one possession of him with the ball at the top of the key and the defense literally doing something else. Like, the defense was like playing Fortnite. They weren't even looking at him, paying attention. And you can't play point guard like that. How did it take this team so long to realize, and then when we came back from COVID, I think the lockdowns and stuff, and they were going to start the NBA bubble, is when the Brett Brown announced basically that he's starting Shake Milton. And I was like, finally.
Yeah.
Finally, you're accepting the fact that you need a point guard on the floor.
Like, Simmons in transition, yeah, give him the ball. I'll let him be the point guard in a transition opportunity. If Simmons gets the rebound, run down to the court. I always liked those plays because those plays worked. But the Sixers never were transitions teams. We were second and last in transition points this year. And even with Ben, we never ran it enough for him to ever be the point guard. because when it comes to the half court, the guys at the top of the key around the 3-point line have to be able to shoot the ball. And if you can't, it just completely changes the entire, foundation of our offense. And like we just never, I think maybe partly because of Embiid, and it really isn't the Sixers' fault, but we just never put Simmons in the position that he needed to be in to make our team better. Not even to make him better, but I also, on the other flip side of it, I think it's a Ben Simmons thing. I think Ben thinks he is a point guard. It's his ego saying, I'm the guy. Like when Jimmy Butler became the point guard in the playoffs the year that we lost to the Raptors, we were successful and we had our best offensive possessions. But Ben was pissed about it. And there's a lot of articles about it ever since then. And that's why Jimmy Butler didn't resign, because it was either Ben or Jimmy, and we were like, oh, well, you're going to give it to Ben.
And that's how delusional he is, because what are you pissed about? You won't do any.
We're winning. Like, that's the thing. Like, we're winning. We're winning basketball games. And you are literally complaining about not getting the ball enough or not being the point guard. Like, that's the stuff that drove me crazy. And in retrospect, I wish I could have been on the anti-Ben Simmons trade 3 years ago. And I now, with all the signs right in front of my face, I'm like, I should have hated him from the beginning. I knew I should have hated him. But like every other Sixers fan, I was like, oh, but his potential, he could be so good. Just imagine when he's going to shoot. Look at these workout videos. But, man, that shit's just a show. He's an entertainer. He's not a basketball player.
Yeah. Like, how are you mad when you do get the ball, you won't do anything with it? Like, we obviously had to give the ball to somebody else. And we inevitably lost the series to Toronto because Brett Brown was obsessed with JJ Redick dribble handoffs. And like I get the same vibes with Seth Curry being a major part of this offense. You're using a player that he's been on several different teams for a reason. He's not that player. He's not supposed to be 38 minutes a part of your offense, and it will hurt you in the long run.
My thing is like the JJ dribble handoff, like efficiently was pretty solid. It tended to be pretty good. But my biggest gripe was when there was one possession left in the game and we're down by 1 and there's 24 seconds and we're running a dribble handoff with JJ Redick and Joel Embiid. That's where I was like, dude, this is awful. Awful.
Yeah,
nothing he could say post game would make me be like, well, that's a solid move. That's the worst play call you can make.
At the end of the day, there wasn't a point guard on the floor, and that was always going to kill us.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're putting the ball in the hands of a guy that can't dribble, JJ Redick, and Joel Embiid's 40 feet from the basket. That's a turnover waiting to happen. Especially 2 years ago, he wasn't as good at handling the ball or passing the ball as he is right now. No. That was just a disaster, and I'm pretty sure it ended in 2 turnovers, and one of them was a shot clock violation. And,
I remember that exactly. Yeah. What you're saying. It was a shot clock violation.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. Yep. People want to act like that Kawhi shot was the reason we lost. No, the reason we lost is we don't have a point guard. We just didn't have a point guard. And we finally have one. It's taking Doc Rivers forever to realize that we have one, I think.
It's a shame that our coach is like notorious for making point guards turn into past point guards. Because if we had any other coach, maybe a younger guy who is a little bit more like analytical or just aware of like the change of traditional basketball, Tyrese could be a 20 plus point scorer a night. He should be. There's no reason Tyrese isn't putting up 20 plus points.
Yeah, I totally agree. And his facilitating's coming along. He has, I want to say in the past 10 games or so, he's averaging over 5 assists. Like he's finishing games with 8 assists, 10 assists. He just finished the game again with 6 assists. With the minimal usage that he had tonight, he had 6 assists. So, if he was a major part of this team, he might have dropped 25 and 10. Hopefully it gets to that point. I think if you get to the playoffs with this team right here, and the usage percentages are where they were tonight, I think you're going to get beat in the first round, because at the end of the day, you're going to have athletic teams that play a zone or whatever. And you're trying to run the offense through Tobias Harris and Seth Curry, and it's not going to work.
I think it depends on matchup, but I agree where you're coming from, but I'm also on the side of like we have the best player in the world. I don't see him losing in the first round. It's going to be tough to beat Embiid 7 times. Not even the 6. It's easier to beat the Sixers 7 times than Embiid 7 times.
That's true.
So
We did get
it's
swept. We did get swept by the Celtics in the bubble.
yeah, we did. That was a weird year though.
Yeah, and
The
then we
whole
had
team gave up. The whole team just was like no one wanted to be there. That was also a different Embiid too.
it was. I think he was a little bit checked out because he was tired of playing with another center on the floor, which just makes no sense. So we play the Suns February 8th. What is that? What's today? The 5th?
I think it's the 6th, so it's Tuesday.
Tuesday, Suns. Best record in the NBA. Athletic, run a fast pace, have an elite veteran point guard, have 3-and-D players, one of them that we gave them for free.
Oh my god.
Mikal Bridges.
Oh my god.
Is that
That
it?
was.
That's
I saw a picture of Mikkel in the Sixers hat today. No, that it hurt me a little bit.
yeah. People post that once in a while. It hurts me too. You
Really
think
tough little knee.
we beat the Bulls in Chicago? Can we beat the Suns in Phoenix?
No, you know. But if we win, man, something happened. Embiid dropped 50 or something. It's going to be a tough matchup for Joel too, because his buddy DeAndre Ayton is a good defender. He's a good post defender, but I think Embiid's going to come out and just absolutely dominate like he always does against good competition on primetime games. And
Oh, it
Ayton
is in
is
Philly. It is in Philly.
two-time.
My bad.
Oh, it's in Philly? Still no.
Yeah.
Probably better chance winning in Phoenix than in Philly. I don't know what happened, man. I don't know why they're not a good home team anymore.
Yeah, we've become a better road team than a home team.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It'd be a
it's a good matchup to watch on Tuesday night, man. DeAndre Ayton, because I remember when he was a rookie and Joel, people were comparing him when he got drafted. People were comparing him to Joel Embiid, and Joel said out loud, like he's the control that he is. He said, "I'm nothing like DeAndre Ayton because I play defense."
Yeah, he bullied him, but then Ayton became a really good defender.
Yeah,
He's really underrated. He's going to get a bag this summer.
oh, he's super underrated. I mean, I think Chris Paul obviously helps that. He went from nobody really saying his name to there was a couple breakdowns that I've watched on YouTube of how Chris Paul changed that team, and like there's just so many things that happen from the top of the key that Ayton ends up with two 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Ayton ends up with the ball under the basket, just wide open dunk. So
Yeah,
Chris Paul helps that out a lot. What's up?
I'm just hugging you. I want to be in your show.
You want to be in my show? All right, just say "Go Sixers" into the mic. Here, where's the mic? The mic's right here. Say "Go Sixers."
Go Sixers!
well said.
All right, with that being said, guys, 370 people still in here, man. Thanks for coming through the chat. We almost hit 400. I was waiting for it. We didn't quite get there. We were at 385, but man, thank everybody for coming in here, man. Hit the like button on your way out. Sixers beat the Bulls. We got some concerns still about lineups and Doc Rivers and Tyrese Maxey's usage rating and with Zach LaVine and Caruso and Lonzo Ball. They were missing all three of those guys. You know what I mean? So, do you think we win this game with all three of those guys active?
Absolutely not. No. We got to take this win with a grain of salt. It's huge.
Yeah.
No, but deep down, though, this game's huge because now we have the tiebreaker with Chicago. So the way the East has been this year, we may honestly be tied with them and be the higher seed because of this 3 wins that we have against them already.
That is a good point. That is a good point. That is a big win. That is a big tiebreaker win. That is. But yeah, post game Tuesday night. I got Philly Mike from the Philly Talk podcast. We might put 3 or 4 people on it, so I might hit you up about that. Why not, man? Let's keep it going.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. And trade Ben Simmons for James Harden at the trade deadline. Do it. Later, man.
Peace.